Today I'm going to present a paper on the theme Kanavera and Sulasa Jataka as a source to understand the social history of early India. So, the Jataka tales were composed around 5th century, which highlighted the previous birth stories of the Buddha in the Pali literature. There were around 550 stories found in the Buddhist literature. We can find the verses of the religious teaching of Buddha in the Khuda Kanyaka text, and later on in which stories were added by the commentators in the Jatakas. All the narrative starts with the Pachu Panavathu or introduction, which describes the story about the present life and which further brings the previous life story known as Athitha Vathu. Each narrative presents the Buddha similar to the characters present in the previous life, and this final section known as Samodhana. This paper on the whole tries to focus on the narratives present in the Kanavera and Sulasa Jatakas and how these sources are fundamentally important to trace the social history in a broader sense, as includes the political, administrative, economic, and cultural aspect of the society. In the world literature, Jatakas were considered as the popular literary collection. The question that arises is that why it is an important to study the ancient India. The descriptive text understood the concepts and approach of the narrative, which are also embroiled in Buddhist norms. It was a fundamental narrative of early India, which highlighted some of the lessons from the daily lives of the local people because it adopted the narrative approach. Both the sources are also important because it adopted the concept of social stratification, which includes the caste, class identities, idea of gender and sexuality, and also traces the social position from higher social order to the lowest group of the society. From these narratives, we will directly analyze the broad category of social history that includes the economic and political aspect of the society. We get the reference about the leadership in these Jataka as they give us the information about the kings and how they govern their kingdom. These Jataka also revolve around the king's character as they depicted them as the righteous king, as there was a king mentioned in the Kanavera and Sulasa Jataka who wanted to conduct the fair practices in his kingdom. For instance, in Kanavera and Sulasa Jataka, the king was portrayed as the champion of law and justice. This brief us about the law and order prevalent in the ancient Indian society. These literary texts also mention the various settlements like Gama, Nagra, and Mahanagra, which mentions the narrative depict the numerous cities and settlements in the countryside which accommodates the large population in the town. These were understandings we get to know about the kingship and settlement pattern and how the political administration was a part of the society. In the economic context, these Jataka gives us a better understanding of the economic situation of that period and highlights the various types of financial activities that boost up the economy of the society. There are references of the Sethi, who was a businessman with a strong economic base and were considered to be important member in the urban community. The Gahapati were also an important socio-economic group who were considered important for the society and were the taxpayers. Uma Chakravarti tries to differentiate between the Buddhist scheme and the Brahmanical scheme, and according to her, the power of the Buddhist scheme comes from the inclusion of the Gahapati in the social stratification, and on the other hand, the Brahmanical scheme was a complete failure as didn't include them in the stratification. That is why presenting the partial and distorted view of the society. The appearance of the Ganika into the economic sphere and in an agrarian system which is based on the private control of the land and labor activity. The most important relationship in the society was that of the master and worker, who should provide the work in return, expecting them to be loyal and serve to them. In my knowledge, based on these translations, the lower class has been the sufferers, which suggests the division of the society is not only based on the political or social norm but also on the economic basis. In the social context, these Jataka generally present the five virtues of Panchashila that should be avoided by everyone, which is killing, stealing, no intoxicants, no desirableness, and the false speeches. But we came to know that opposites stand in both these Jatakas. Another important moral conduct was the truth and wisdom, which shows the distinctive quality of a person which we didn't find in any of these narratives. Also, the Sulasa Jataka gives us an example of a gift giving ritual practiced by the master, as these benefits themselves, brackets, karma, and other who were dependent on them. Based upon this, we think the way up for a good quality of life can be found in the nature of a good moral action. In these Jatakas, there were reflection of the social and gender inequality, as the narrative mentioned about the unpleasant condition of the women and slaves in the society. It was believed that she had to be controlled by the dominant class and there should be restriction on the privileges of adulthood. Contrary to it, both the narratives showed the women were dominantly involved in the adultery practice. Sometimes the image of the woman was portrayed as the dominant one with an uncontrollable desires. With the growth of Buddhism, the women became an important part of the society and their role was not restricted to the wife, mothers, or spinster. For instance, Ganika were the masters in their own household, as Jataka stories reflect the wealthy, influential courtesans who were the owner of their household, maid, bodyguards, and enjoyed the great freedom, yet are dependent in the male dominant society. But we noted from the Kanavera and Sulasa Jataka about the social inequalities and notion of karma, which gives us the idea about the individual ranking in the society. The notion of karma presented in these Jatakas, and this can be further understood as a cycle of a birth or rebirth which is inexplicitly related to the caste system. As far as we know, the Buddhist religion rejected the idea of a caste system as as further explicitly recognized the oppressed section of the society and paved the way for the prostitute and other lowest social groups. This shows us how much social and gender hierarchical norms were deeply rooted in the early Indian literature in the male dominating society. The Kanavera and Sulasa Jatakas represent that women enjoyed their power and status in the restricted society, and also we get the various instances where the dasis or slaves from the lower category restricted to the household spaces. This is the general social pattern and the behavior towards the women which occurs from the defective consideration of their role in the sphere of the social economic aspect. In both the narratives, there is a depiction that women were irresponsible outside their household space as they remained in their houses, and usually the male members went outside on their behalf. The idea of karma were compelled to take up the profession of the prostitute. The literature portrayed the women in a negative light and with their role of limit sexual activities. The Kanavera and Sulasa Jataka depicted the story of a prostitute who falls in love with another man by betraying the honest man and put all the blame on the woman. If either man flees or dies away due to his own karma, but these stories reflect this female unworthiness and the faithlessness in the obnoxious manner, which further adding to the warnings of Bodhisattva and Leti. The Buddhist tradition didn't bother to address the question of gender equality as it faces the socio-economic disparities, especially by the Ganikas or Dasis. But one can argue that there was not full-fledged exploitation of the slaves as work was assigned to their capacity. They were supplied with food and wages and granted them leave occasionally. The social injustice and justified on the notion of karma as they have committed the sins in their previous birth, so it could be rectified by doing the good deeds into the social conduct. The Buddhist tradition also deals with the idea of social stratification, which is identified through the various terms like jati, kula, karma. For all social stratification, Buddhists prefer to use the term kula instead of jati, and according to them, to rebirth in the high kula of Khatya, Brahman, Grahapati, one should have good behavior and meritorious deeds. Social hierarchy played an important role in maintaining the sharp differences in the social order. We find the different social structure in the society from higher order to the lower order group, which describe the daily social norms and condition of that time. Umar Chakravarti clearly tries to study the various social categories beyond the social stratification and caste system as indicated through the social stratification. I would like to conclude by saying that in this paper we have analyzed the Kanavera and Sulasa Jataka to understand the social history, which is also much relevant to the contemporary times. Jataka tales were also a part of the oral tradition which were orally recited by the people, but later they were assembled and made some adjustment to the narratives according to the by the local people. The Jatakas were the independent source which gives us the knowledge about the political, economic, and social cultural processes of ancient India, dated between the 5th century and the 3rd century. These were compiled not as a particular place or by a person, so there might be possibility of the omission found in the narrative. We found many complexities in the Jataka story, which is also fundamental source to look at the contemporary practices. Hence, the political, administrative, economic, and social cultural activities found in the Jataka narratives were interconnected together. Thank you.